Não é todo dia que você pode conversar com o pequeno Buda, ainda mais ele sendo Keanu Reeves, a maior sensação do momento em Hollywood. E se ele é bonito, inteligente e sensível, ele é também muito tímido e reservado. Com uma vida solitária, inteiramente dedicada ao trabalho, o que lhe garantiu sucessos como O Pequeno Buda, Dracula e Speed. Ele é filho de mãe inglesa e pai meio chinês e meio havaiano. Ele nasceu no Líbano e foi criado em Toronto, no Canadá. Seu nome, Keanu, significa brisa das montanhas. E ele certamente tem tudo para ser o mais novo herói do cinema. Com vocês, Keanu Reeves. Keanu?
Yes.
It has any meaning, this word?
I'm told that it means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian.
Hawaiian. In a few years, you've done such a great movies. You worked with the
Thanks.
best directors.
Yeah, I've been...
great part.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did you expect this to happen so fast in your career?
Well, it's, I don't know if it's happened, it's relative. I mean, it hasn't happened so fast. It's been the past 3-4 years. But I mean, I've worked with great directors. I mean, I've been very, very, very fortunate with the people that I've been able to perform with. Directors, actors, cinematographer, through and through, costume. I mean, exceptional, exceptional. Little Buddha with, you know, Bertolucci and Jim Atchison in the costumes, and Storaro to work in that, and with Speed, Jan de Bont and his cinema, you know, and to perform with, you know, Dennis Hopper and Jeff Daniels and Sandra Bullock and Joe Morton and even, you know, Alan Ruck, who performs in the film, is very good. You know, everyone was. I've been very
and you're
fortunate.
great. But you were a guy living in Toronto. No, a guy there.
Yes.
What made you?
Just a man, just a boy.
Just a little boy from
Just
a little town.
boy from a little town.
What made you become an actor?
Oh, many different things. I started when I was 15, 16. My mother recalls the story of me walking into a room. She designs clothing, and I came in and I said, "Mother, I want to be an actor." And she went, "Okay, whatever you'd like to do." And I went, "Okay." And then I went and enrolled in acting classes. And
What made you decide to do this?
I don't remember that day, and I don't remember the year before it. But I remember enjoying acting in high school, you know, like in the beginning, and I remember enjoying playing. I know that there's something in there about, you know how when there's always a story of the young boy seeing a police officer or a fireman, and they want to, I had that except with the artists. I was surrounded by artists, and I guess they were these people that I was attracted, and I don't know if it's all become, I mean, I've gone through many things in acting myself, but I mean, I don't know if this is all just a projection of that desire to be what I desire. I don't think so, because maybe initially, but when I did it, it felt right, and I have the most fun. I'm like a happy guy when I'm acting. And sometimes when it goes well, when it's good. You know, it didn't come from cinema.
Oh, no?
If it did, I would say from Peter O'Toole. From watching Peter O'Toole in The Ruling Class, from Peter O'Toole and Beckett, Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, he was, I'm a great fan of his.
What are your favorite movies?
I don't have a list of favorite films. Right now, I guess I like, I'm really looking forward to films that have unique cinema, with relationships and characters that are relevant to contemporary days and dealing with the emotional and intellectual and societal
Contemporary
problems.
stories about people like us.
Yeah, and acting that is dangerous and inventive and honest. You know.
Did you have role models? Someone, you know, some actor that you like to watch?
Nowadays, Robert Duvall. Crispin Glover.
Someone who is
Nicolas Cage, I
inspiring.
enjoy. Inspiring? Robert Duvall. And also, I mean, Sean Penn still.
Did you have any fears, any doubts?
No, I just had excitement, and I wanted to act, and I wanted to go to Hollywood and act in films, and I wanted to get great parts.
You knew that it would happen?
No, I didn't know. I was just hoping my car would make it. Yeah. What else could I do?
What was your dream at that time?
To get there and to hopefully be able to earn a living acting and to perform. And I guess my dream was the expectation, was the desire to be acting and to be, when I was in Toronto, I was 18 and I had done a few commercials, I'd done a couple of plays, and I had just earned enough, I had just quit it, well no, that was about a year before, so I was getting frustrated in Toronto because the productions that were coming in were American productions, and the good parts were not available to me and to my friends. We would always be in the side or the other guy, and it was frustrating. I was like,
yeah, you want to.
And so I had the opportunity. I have a stepfather, and through that I had the opportunity to get a green card. So I thought, I'll just go. I want to go. I want to do this. I want to study. It's the place to be.
And have your dreams changed? What are they now?
My dreams.
What is?
I'm not a dreamer.
You're a doer.
I don't even know. I don't know what I don't know.
Do you have any wishful thinking? Something you aim, you want to?
I would like to. I want to be a better actor, and I want to hopefully continue to work with creative people, and to make hopefully great films, and to continue to be creative, and that involves theater as well, and any other kind of.
So you got everything you wanted.
Do I?
I don't know.
No.
Do
not
you?
at all. No, I
Is there
wanted. I don't. I mean, I
anything
don't have many possessional desires. I don't. I don't have that. Right now, I don't. You know, I'm not doing it to pay for my house or anything. I don't have any of that. My desires lie artistic.
Yeah, ambition to be bigger and greater and learn more.
No, not bigger and greater. I mean, that is something. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
No, I'm not saying bigger as a star. I'm saying as an actor, as a human being. You know, something that you learn with.
Some days I'm not interested in all that.
Not yet.
Some days I'm just kind of like hanging out and just. You know.
Have you ever considered being a musician instead of an actor?
No. I play with a couple of friends, and we play in clubs once in a while.
What kind of music do you play?
It's folk music.
What kind of music you like to listen?
Recently I've been listening to Dinosaur Jr., Where You Been, John Coltrane, The Master Tapes, Bob Thiel producing, and what else? And I just recently bought the new Soundgarden CD.
But do you think, are you a good musician?
No, I'm terrible.
Really?
I play bass. I'm rudimentary skilled, but some of our songs are pretty good. They're toe tapping good songs. They're good for.
Are you a composer too?
A composer? No, I'm not a composer. Though I do have that. That's something that when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a nuclear physicist, a conductor of an orchestra, a race car driver, or an inventor.
Good.
So I became an actor.
Yeah,
so
well, you can be everything.
Well,
all of them.
You can get semblances of them all, and taste. A musician, no. I like the whole nature of the form, the mnemonic of music. I like looking at, I don't know, I guess compositions, etc., the shapes and all.
And you are a role model yourself for lots of people. Are you aware of this?
Am I? No, I guess not.
Well, you can be maybe.
What would be the role model? What would you put what would you put underneath it?
Well, maybe you can be an icon, you know, for a generation. You know,
what?
They look at you and they want to be like you, or. Don't you think so? Don't you think this can happen?
I'm not a role model, an icon. That's something in my work. Hopefully, I mean, because then if I do that, then can I play a bad guy? Then I get into a whole kind of moral question.
No, sure.
I want to be diabolic, and I want to do the dark side stuff, and I want to go out to the horror and the, and that of course can have a lesson. Hopefully, you know, if you see that, you'll change your ways.
Mm-hmm.
But
so you don't want this
in my
position.
life, you know, my concerns are, you know, for my friends, my family, myself. I do when I get to talk, when journalists call me famous, it's the most famous I feel.
Wow. That's great.
You know, I'm like, oh,
it's something you don't carry your own story, you know, you don't think about this, you don't behave
my position in it, I mean, it gets heightened when a film is coming out. Hopefully that it's, you know, that the attention, hopefully that it'll be worth the attention and that people will respond to it. When I get, you know, when I meet people on the street, if they say, you know, good or bad or whatever, that is where I touch the elements that go into making fame. One way. It's great when I can, you know, give back. Some days my day is going this way, and people who have seen films want to take me this way, and so I'm like, you know, that is a position that is sometimes uncomfortable, and that is what I've had to learn to deal with occasionally. It's not something that is overwhelming, and I hope it never becomes so. The other side of fame is that if I get to hopefully, you know, if a film does well, then the people who are producing will have money, will be interested, and will allow me to perform in films that are at a certain, that have certain financial responsibilities. And if that can work, then great, because I'd like to be there. It would be.
But
great.
for instance, the image you project and people expect from you something, you know, and they treat you in a way because of something. You don't feel this kind of difference?
It happens sometimes. But you know, and other days, it's a very I try to take nothing for granted and just deal with what happens, because any kind of expectation or is folly. Expectation is folly. So if you think that you're somebody and you go, don't you know my work? And they're like,
suddenly,
it's ridiculous. I mean, so I try not to. I don't. Whew, I know that lesson well.
But there is always a struggle, kind of struggle between being an artist, you know, and the demands of being a celebrity.
Yes.
And do you feel the struggle? Is it personally do you
Not
feel
all the
it?
time, sometimes. I mean, in this milieu, yeah, but then this is part of it as well. So, I guess I don't have many demands on me in that respect.
It doesn't affect you, the public persona, doesn't interfere with your
Of course,
personal
sometimes
feelings?
it does. Toward what? In
Toward
what?
new people, you know,
I just try to take it face value. That's, I think, answering your question.
So you know how to protect yourself from pressure when you don't know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it really, it's such a broad question that I don't know how to respond to it.
I don't know how did I do that.
Well, I mean, because we're speaking about something that is based and intangible, you know, in cinema and fame and the attention and the non-attention and the world of it is like a shifting light or fog, and there are traps in it that can lead you down to ways that are not necessarily good for anybody. You know, I mean, if you know. And there are other things that are, you know, great about it, that, you know, people are seeing what you do and hopefully they'll dig it.
Do you care about reviews?
Sometimes, yeah, sure.
How do you react to criticism?
Generally I react, I mean, if the criticism is done well, what can I say? If it's if I feel it's unjust or if I think it's stupid, then I dismiss it.
But do you have any kind of anxiety, you know, what they gonna say?
What they're gonna say? Yeah, sure. I mean, to me, it's the first because generally critics, other than people in the business, are the first people to see your work in cinema. So that's the first way that you wonder how they're going to take the thing that you're performing in. I'm sure for a director it must be even more intense. With myself, I only have a certain kind of part in it.
At the beginning of your career, was it hard? Was it easy? Things happened in a easy way for you?
I had both. I had some, I can't call it, I mean, it's so, in my youth. I'm 29, and that was, what, when I was 17, 18? It's, I can't,
but do you remember?
I had a hard life. I didn't have a hard life. I've been very fortunate.
For instance, many auditions, any rejection,
All
many no's.
Yes, yes, I'm familiar with that, all of that. Yes.
And how did you feel?
I felt bad.
What is the feeling of, when you go?
I'm sorry, my apologies. Yes, I had much rejection, and as an actor, and I continue to still not. I've petitioned for projects and not been allowed to do them, and been not right, and so it's not. I'm not at a point in my career where I'm.
You just get,
which is good. And I don't
but
mind
you
that.
still do auditions?
Yeah, sure.
To get, for instance, Dracula.
No, Dracula was a special case. Yeah. That was Winona petitioning on my behalf to Francis. And I think Francis, I'm speaking for him now, I don't know this for sure, but I think that he, I guess he felt at the time that my involvement would bring a certain interest of his film for younger people.
When you don't get a part, for instance, do you blame yourself? What is your reaction?
When I don't get a part now, I deal with it first in my own emotional way, and then I try to take in the confounders of the whole situation, I guess. Just try to look at it from the perspective of the producers and the creative from the director, and just try to relate to it and see what I can see and make sense of it.
Can you understand the whole business? I mean,
I'm learning more and more, which is helpful. Bertolucci was very collaborative with me. Coppola was very hands-off. He didn't know how to help me. He, I don't think. I've never spoken to him about this, but he would just try. He was just trying to get me to go farther and to do more, and I couldn't, and so he didn't. So he didn't know how to help me there. I don't know if I could have been helped, but whereas Bertolucci, I was in good shape, and it was all, and he was very collaborative. He was very intellectual. Buddhism, Freud, he's gone through Freudian analysis, so this dealing with the notion, the idea of self, and to explore that. Then to show me photos. We would look at pictures of the different Buddhas in posture under the Bodhi tree to try and choose that thing. Then for me to look inside to figure out what that is.
What did you learn with Siddhartha? It's such an interesting character.
Yes, it's a very interesting character.
Broad, big.
Well, I mean, I didn't know much about Siddhartha and Buddhism before I began. And then for the 4 months that I was involved with the project, I read as much as I could and spoke with a couple people about what I was reading. I read many compendiums of Buddhism, so I kind of became familiar with the different schools, Mahayana, Vajrayana. I get off on both of them very much. I love this and I love this, and this is really great too, and all of these things is great, and that's great. And I would say I'm both. I really am both sides. If they are two, my ways lean toward. I love to be stimulated when I work on a part. I like to have a kind of intellectual, symbolic, what is this? What does this mean? Let's deal with the story from a purely like, you know, the technical terms or ideas of the form. And then I also enjoy the emotion and the furies, I guess, the muses of the performing that, of existing in that.
You bring up all your feelings.
Sometimes, but sometimes my repression is what is the story as well.
Okay, Keanu, thank you very much for the interview.
Madam?